Hello students, I welcome you to today's session. I hope you all are doing fine, students. Let's do a quick recap. In the previous session, we did the chapter, that is chapter 6 of Moments, Weathering the Storm in Ursama. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed that chapter and you have completed your notes of that chapter. Today, students, I am going to pick up your poem from your BEEHIVE, and the poem that's poem number 4. As you can see the title on the screen, A Legend of the Northland. It's a very interesting poem, students. I would like all of you to pay attention, and you will be enjoying this poem as well. It's a bit lengthy because this poem has a story in it, as you can see. Okay, so and it has an interesting story, and the poem is written by Phoebe Carey. And this kind of a poem that tells a story within a poem, it's called ballet. Okay, ballad. So you can see it's written. A ballad is a song narrating a story in short stanza. Ballad are a part of folk culture or popular culture and are passed on orally from one generation to the next. So is the poem A Legend of Northland. Okay, so I would like all of you to pick up your BEEHIVE books and open up your page 65 so we can start with your poem, A Legend of Northland. Now legend here means a story. Okay, a famous story, not just story but famous story. Okay, and Northland, yes, that is the name of the place. So this poem narrates the legend of an old lady who angered Saint Peter because of her greed. So let's begin. Away, away in Northland, where the hours of the day are few and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. So they're talking about Northland. Now in the Northland, the hours of day are very few. That means it's usually Northland is a place which is a very cold place. So during the day, the time of the day when the sun is shining, that it shines only for few hours. So it practically looks like as if the sun is shining only for 2 to 3 hours and rest of the day is complete into dark. So it's dark because the sunshine is not there, so people feel it's almost night. And the nights are so long in winter. That is the reason, इसलिए रातें बहुत लंबी होती है वहाँ पे, कि उनकी नींद भी मतलब पूरी हो जाती है बट फिर रात ख़त्म नहीं होती है. So that is the reason why they say that nights are longer. Okay, moving on to paragraph 2, where they harnessed the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows and the children look like bear cubs in their funny furry clothes. So there are reindeers, and harness the reindeers means they use reindeers for traveling from one place to another on the sledges and it continuously snows over there. So as it is a very cold area and it keeps on snowing over there, so the children they have to dress up. They are dressed up in heavy woolen clothes and they look like bear cubs actually. Okay, so bear cubs उनको इसलिए कहा जा रहा है because of the woolen that they have to wear in their funny furry clothes. So they have to wear funny and furry clothes इसलिए. They tell them a curious story. I don't believe it's true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. So the poet says that yes, there's a very famous tale. Tale is a short story. It's a traditional story which is a true story. But poet ये कह रही है कि I'm not sure कि वो story true है या नहीं. But yes, आपको एक lesson सीखने को मिलेगा. Okay. Once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about in preaching just as he did, So Saint Peter was, when he was a part of our world, he was living in our world. तो तब की कहानी है ये. He used to walk to different places preaching का मतलब होता है teaching about religious things. Okay, and he used to walk here and there and teaching the children about different things. So उस टाइम पे क्या हुआ, he came to the door of a cottage in traveling round the earth, where a little woman was making cakes and baking them on the hearth. So एक बार क्या हुआ कि वो एक कॉटेज के दरवाजे पे आ गए एंड वो पूरी धरती घूम रहे थे और उस कॉटेज के बाहर आके वो रुक गए और वहाँ पे एक देयर वाज अ लेडी हु वाज मेकिंग केक्स. Okay, and she was baking them in the hearth. Hearth means in the olden days the, we can say, the ovens were made in that way, the mud ovens. Okay, the mud made ovens. And being faint with fasting, for the day was almost done, he asked her from her store of cakes to give him a single one. So Saint Peter was fasting. So fasting की वजह से he was feeling very weak and he was almost fainting, and he wanted as the day was over, so his fast was also over. So now he wanted to eat something. So he came and told the lady that please give me one cake or a slice of a cake from your store. Okay, now moving on to the next page, students. So she made a very little cake, but as it baking lay, she looked at it and thought it seemed too large to give away. Now since the lady was very greedy, okay, so she made a cake. She specifically started making a cake for Saint Peter. She made a cake, but that cake looked for जब उसने बना लिया उसे लगा कि it's too big for her. So it's too big to give it away to Saint Peter's. She can instead sell it and get money from it. तो उसे थोड़ा सा वो अजीब so she was not ready to give that cake away. Therefore she needed another. का मतलब होता है कि उसने दोबारा से बैटर बनाना शुरू किया, and still a smaller one, and it looked, when she turned it over, as large as first had done. So she again prepared the batter and she tried to make a smaller one, but then again when she made it, so the next one was on so the next cake was also looking as big as the first one. So unfortunately it again became a bigger cake. Okay, then she took a tiny scrap of dough. So the second one also she was not ready to give, she wanted to keep it for selling. So उसने अब थर्ड टाइम क्या किया, then she took a tiny scrap of dough. Tiny scrap of dough means उसने बहुत थोड़ा सा डो लिया. Okay, and rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer, but she couldn't part with that. तो उसने रोल किया, उसे रोल करके जो नेक्स्ट वाला थर्ड टाइम था, शी रोल्ड इट सो मच दैट शी टर्न्ड इट इनटू अ वेफर. नाउ it became a wafer. So now again she was not ready to give that wafer also away. She wanted to keep it and she wanted to again sell it. For she said, my cakes that seem too small when I eat of them myself, and yet too large to give away. So she put them on the shelf. So whichever cakes, how many cakes she made 3 attempts. So all those cakes she said that yes, maybe I can eat it myself and I can keep it away, but I'm not ready to give it to Saint Peter's, because I can sell them and then get money. Then good Saint Peter grew angry, for he was hungry and faint, and surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. So when she did it for the third time, now Saint Peter got very angry, and he said, because he was he was feeling hungry, and he was even he was ready to faint. So now what he did is, okay, so now Saint Peter was hungry and he was feeling little faint as well. So when he looked at what the lady was doing, so उनको और ज़्यादा गुस्सा आ गया. He was angry, and now he was provoked by that lady, and he said, so now angry Saint Peter says, and he said, you are far too selfish to dwell in human form, and to have both food and shelter and fire to keep you warm. So Saint Peter गुस्से में उसे बोल रहे हैं that yes, you are a very selfish lady, and you should not dwell का मतलब होता है live. Okay, so he says that yes, you are not fit to be a human and to enjoy the food and shelter that you have and the fire that keeps you warm. Now you shall build as birds do and shall get your scanty food by boring and boring and boring all day in the hard dry wood. So Saint Peter उसको कर्स करते हैं, उसको श्राप दे देते हैं that yes, now you will have to live like birds live. So you'll have to live on trees with your scanty means with very less food. You will have to bore का मतलब होता है to make hole in the wood. Okay, so you will have to make holes in the woods day after day, time after time, and then only you will get your food. Then up she went through the chimney, never speaking a word, and out of the top flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. So once when Saint Peter cursed her, एक बार उन्होंने जब बोल दिया, so then she turned into a bird, और वो चिमनी के बाहर निकल के उड़ गई. She could not speak anything, and she had now became a woodpecker. Woodpecker, students, basically is a bird which feeds on wood, on the ticks. टिक्स का मतलब होता है स्मॉल इंसेक्ट्स, टर्माइट्स जिसे हम कहते हैं, स्योंक जिसे हम कहते हैं, जो लकड़ को खा लेती है. सो वुड कटर यूजुअली, द वुड पैकर usually pecks or eats those termites that live in the wood. Okay, so that is what happens. So that is the curse that she was given, the lady was given by Saint Peter, for she was changed to bird. So now she was changed into a bird. So moving over to page 67, the last part of our poem. She had a scarlet cap on her head, and that was left the same. So when the lady was turned into the bird, so उस टाइम पे उसने एक स्कारलेट मीन्स वेरी आई वुड से बेबी पिंक कलर शेड, तो उसने वो कैप पहनी होती है. एंड दैट सेम कैप, आई वुड से द साइन or the color, the woodcutter's head, if you see, has the similar color of that cap that she was wearing. But all the rest of her clothes were burned black as coal in the flame, and her clothes were burned. And every country schoolboy has seen her in the wood, where she lives in the trees till this very day, boring and boring for food. So after that, so this was a story. So after that incident, so till now, till today, all the school children, all the people of that Northland place speak about this story, and they say that they have even seen that woodpecker, that she now lives in those woods, and she every day she keeps on boring, finding for her food. Okay, so yes students, this is the end of the poem. So I hope you enjoyed this poem and the story in it. Yes, the word meaning are given over there, and I'll be sending you the question answers that you have to do along with the stanzas. Okay, and yes student, there's one more thing. I'll be sending you a file. In that file I'll be giving you instructions. I'm going to send you we will have a doubt clearing session kept on during your next session. So I would like you all to write me your doubts and send it to the class email ID. It will be there, the instructions will be there in the PDF file. So please send over your doubts, whatever you have regarding the particular topics which I'm going to mention, and I'll be clearing. So the next session that we will have, I'll be clearing up your doubts in that session. Okay students, so till then please complete your notes. All of you stay safe and be healthy, and this is the end of your session today. Thank you.